Welcome to UOIT's Teaching and Learning Center's tutorial on what is TurningPoint and ResponseWare. This is one screencast in a series of tutorials designed to help you use TurningPoint in your classroom to poll your students for their responses to your questions. So what is TurningPoint and what is ResponseWare? Well, TurningPoint is an audience polling software that works in conjunction with ResponseWare. Together, they provide a wireless connection between the instructor's TurningPoint presentation and the student's web browser-based response device. You can transform your PowerPoint presentations into TurningPoint presentations and watch your students confirm their understanding of key points, become more engaged in your classes, and see their answers unfold in real time. So how do you get started? Well, to get started using TurningPoint and ResponseWare, you need to download the TurningPoint software from turningtechnologies.com and then register for the ResponseWare polling software. We have two tutorials available to help you with this, installing TurningPoint and creating an account for ResponseWare. You can find these tutorials on UOIT's Teaching and Learning Center website. TurningPoint integrates into Microsoft PowerPoint, giving you a comfortable and familiar interface with which to create your presentations. Once you install TurningPoint, the program opens up into Microsoft PowerPoint, but has a new ribbon installed, and this is the TurningPoint ribbon, showing the icons that allow you to get into the different features of TurningPoint. You design your presentation in the same manner you would in Microsoft PowerPoint, and when you want to poll your students, you click on Insert a Slide, choose the slide type, and insert the slide. So let's do a quick demonstration of adding a new slide to your PowerPoint presentation. I'm going to go up and say Insert Slide, choose a vertical slide, and now I'm going to enter the question text. I'm going to enter some answers. You can enter up to 10 answers. And I'm now ready to run my presentation. Remember, this is an overview. If you want any of the details of how to do these things, look at some of the other tutorials that we've created for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the session data, and I'm going to go into Tools, and I'm going to ask for a ResponseWare session ID. When I do that, I'm presented with a screen to log in. I'll log in with my credentials. I'm going to allow guests rather than having to require login from my students. And I'm going to click on Login, and it will create a session ID for me. This is the session ID that you give to your students when they are ready to answer your questions. So let's do that. Let's go over to the web, and I'm going to take you to rwpoll.com, which is the ResponseWare side of things, and enter that session ID. Once I enter the session ID and say Join Session, it asks me for a name. This is just any name, but you should ask your students to put their first name and their last name. We'll look at some of the data that you can collect as a result of this polling information. There's no user data to go here. That's used for other parts of ResponseWare that we don't use. Click on Continue. And now the student is ready to wait for the polling to happen. So I'm going to go and run this presentation, and I'm going to run it so it doesn't take up the full screen. Whoops. And I'm going to do that by setting up the slideshow to be browsed by an individual and advance the slides manually, and that way you can see them in the screen. So now I'm going to say, run this slideshow from the beginning. My first slide is blank, and my second slide is the polling slide. If I go back and see what the students are looking at now, notice that their web page has changed, and now they can answer this question. Let's say this student actually does know which month has 28 days and selects February. If I go back to my presentation, notice across the top this ribbon says I've had one response, the polling is open, and I can wait until I get more responses. Since I only have one student in this demonstration class, I think we're done. If I click to advance my slides, I am now going to see the results of the polling. And there we have it. Of the 6 answers, this one was 100% answered. Students will also see this information on their screen showing them that 100% of the respondents answered February. So this overview shows you how powerful TurningPoint and ResponseWare can be in the classroom. For detailed information on using the software, please go through the rest of the tutorials. And this concludes our tutorial on what is TurningPoint and ResponseWare. Thank you for watching.